This message is not for everyone. This is for the soul who will recognize it immediately. You have to fail. You have to fail. And now you understand that. You understand that failure is not the enemy. You now understand that failure is not something to prove that you're incapable. You understand that failure is part of the design. Failure is part of the design. You have to fail and you have to be wrong. And this is one of the biggest things that blocks people from becoming the greatest versions of themselves because they're afraid to be wrong. They're afraid of doing something, then realizing later that I was wrong. This wasn't the right move. But then you understand that in order to be right, you first need to be wrong. And you're okay with that because now you understand something much deeper. You understand something much deeper now because you know something most people haven't realized yet, which is you are not your mistakes. You are not your mistakes. The decisions tsele tse sa spanang ha se wena. Those things don't define you. They shape you. And the moment you understand that, something inside of you shifts. Something shifts inside of you because you can now admit something honestly. Awitsi Alice, in fact, you don't know Jack. And has a weakness, it's freedom. It's freedom. Because experience in this body, in this life, in this very moment, you're having it for the first time. You are having it for the first time. And hakuna manual. There's no perfect script. There is no moment where you're suddenly supposed to know everything. There is no moment where you suddenly have to have everything figured out. We like everyone else. The difference is you stopped pretending you know everything. You stopped pretending that you're supposed to know it all. So when people are panicking, running around, trying to control everything, trying to predict every outcome, trying to make sure for you remain calm. You remain calm. Because go na le se se tlhaloganyang se leng gore batho ba bang ga ise ba se utlwisise, that the how is not your job. Your job is alignment with your true self. Your job is honesty. Your job is movement. But the how, the exact steps, the exact way to do things, that's not something you're meant to control. That's not something you're meant to have control over. And once you understand, you stop being afraid to move. O tlogella go freeze every time there is uncertainty. You stop waiting for perfect clarity because you're not afraid to make mistakes anymore. In fact, you're willing to make them. Sometimes even deliberately. It's not because of what I'll fail, but because you're curious. You want to witness what is true and what is not. You want to experience things for yourself. O batla go testa kutlwisiso ya gago. You want to grow, and growth only happens through experience, not theory, not waiting, not watching everyone else live their lives while you're still trying to calculate the safest path. Experience, real moments, real choices, real lessons. And when you reach that stage, something interesting happens. The mundane is no longer part of who you are. the version of you that used to shrink, the version of you that used to constantly question themselves, the version of you that needed approval before making a move. That version yanyamela. That version yanyamela. Because o utlwile go yang go phela under constant self-doubt. O utlwile go yang go phela under constant self-doubt. O iponetse go yang go nea batho matla a gago. O ithutile gore na go diragala eng when you let other people's opinions guide your decisions. And now you're done with that. Ha o sa dlalela timi eo. So choosing yourself doesn't feel painful anymore. It doesn't feel selfish. It doesn't feel like you're doing something wrong. It feels natural. It feels necessary. Because now you've outgrown the toughest version of yourself. You've outgrown the toughest version of yourself. The version that needed permission and validation. The version that needed someone else for a netefatsa that you are allowed to live the life you are called to live. The life you feel called to live. You don't need that anymore. And that realization, it changes everything. That realization changes everything. Because now you understand something that a lot of people spend their entire lives avoiding, which is your greatest teacher is you, not the people who tell you what to think, not the system that tries to control your choices. It's in the voice, it's a dulang di go bolelela gore tshwanetse o dire eng, tshwanetse o ska dira eng. Your greatest teacher is your experience, your awareness, your own reflection. And once you accept that, you stop waiting for permission. Once you accept that, you stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for someone else to approve your path. Because setse o bone gore na go yang ha o tlogeletse motho mong e nne ene a kgannang bophelo ba gago. O utlwile go yang go dula passenger seat mo gare ga existence ya gago. And wa itse tsela eo e ya kae. You know exactly where that road is leading. So now you make a different decision. You take the wheel, not because we tsitsela, but because you now understand something far more important. That this life is your experience, your path, your evolution, and no one else should be driving. No one else should be driving it. Not fear, not expectations, not pressure. E seng mantswe a batho ba sa utlwisiseng tsela ya gago. You drive, you learn, you grow, and every mistake you make along the way, it becomes another lesson that shapes the person you're becoming.